Here's a war that should not happen. The black manosphere versus the pro-black space. But the issue is there is a lot of shots fired from the pro-black space. I am still trying to understand exactly why. Be honest, a lot of times you have the big players like Jason Black, he fires shots. We got the doctor, Umar, he fires shots. We also got the other doctor, Boyce Watkins, constantly firing shots. We got his people behind him like Vicky Dillard, constantly firing shots. I think that a lot of this has to do with the fact that there's a misunderstanding about what the black manosphere is, and I don't even think that they care to understand for the most part. I think it's more about rallying the troops, and it's almost like the more enemies that they have, the more that they can rally the troops and try to get everybody riled up to go to war. I don't include people like Tariq Nasheed in this because Tariq Nasheed has said on several occasions, as far as I know of, that people like Kevin Samuels, he's like, hey, some things he says is true. What I don't disagree with, he says, I'm not going to speak on. But we have other people, like I said, that are part of that pro-black space that constantly cast stones. Now, as far as the manosphere goes, what happens is because the pro-black space a lot of time takes shots, these guys, they take their shots back every once in a while. But I think really what the pro-black space misses is I think a lot of the people in the manosphere, I'll say a couple of them, they respect people that have traditionally been in the pro-black space or B1. And many people consider themselves B1 who subscribe to the manosphere. Me, myself being one. The only issue, I'm getting to a point now where I'm kind of slowing down on the pro-black space because it seems like we're just turning our wheels here. We're constantly doing the same thing over and over again. And even with the thumbnail that I had here, we have Dr. Boyce, we have Dr. Umar, we have Jason Black. Within the pro-black space, there is constant infighting, constantly. So we can, if there's one little minute disagreement on something, then we are going to, it's a reason for us to go to war. And for me, that's unacceptable. It's part of the reason why I think the black manosphere is growing and will continue to grow because it's not so much of that. Now, should this war happen? Like I said, no, it shouldn't happen. It shouldn't happen because the black manosphere's intention is to help black men. The problem with the pro-black space is that financially, I think it's supported more by black women, and it's easier to pander to them. If you listen to Jason Black and you listen to Kevin Samuels is like a smoother, toned down Jason Black, especially when he does the business broadcast. He is harsh. And one of Jason Black's points is that Kevin Samuels stole talking points and continued to do that. Is that true? I don't think that that's necessarily true. I think everybody has been influenced by Jason Black. He's been around for so long. His ideas have swimmed around, and he's influenced the manosphere because to a certain extent, he is kind of like I don't want to say a granddad, but like a great-granddaddy of the manosphere. Because some of his ideas, if you listen to a Kevin Samuels broadcast or many people in the manosphere, some of these people who've been around for a while have been listening to Jason Black. And I think most people do respect him because he did put out a whole lot of ideas. Personally, I think that his ego is what drives some of this. It's kind of like who's this Kevin Samuels guy using some of my talking points, coming into this space, and everybody giving him all of this attention? To me, it's like, well, Jason Black couldn't do what Kevin Samuels was doing. It's not his space. Jason Black is just too rough around the edges. He too thuggish, if you want to say that, about how he communicates his ideas. So it wouldn't come off the same way, but most of the ideas are the same. That's when I hear people in the pro-black space talk about you're getting bad advice. A lot of times if you're getting Kevin Samuels' talking points, a lot of them line up with Jason Black. And yes, he gets it from other places, just like Dr. Shahrazad Ali. It's all of this stuff is kind of swimming around, and different people are taking different information from different places and putting them together and making it their own. That's all that's happening. This war should not happen, but it's constantly a Cold War and small skirmishes that are going on. Now, I'll tell you who I have a big problem with, and that is the good old Doc Boyce. My reason for him and my issue with him is I think he's motivated by financial reasons. I think just kind of like his thing with Lizzo, I think he throws those stones because it just drums up more controversy over to his channel. And if you look at his channel, there's a lot of black women over there if you look at the stats and everything. So he's going to pander. The same thing with Dr. Umar. Dr. Umar he's not going to let anybody go say too much about single mothers without him jumping in, because those are his financiers. Let's be real. The Black Manosphere, financed mostly by black men, for the most part by black men. And one of my challenges for anybody to call themselves in a B1, which I consider myself, I have spent money over there. I definitely support Tariq Nasheed. Anybody that's over there that has a problem with Kevin Samuels or any of these people in the Black Manosphere, and I'm an educator. How about this? This is my problem with the pro-black space. Everybody wants to get down on black males and say, hey, you need to look for a father figure if you're supporting or following Kevin Samuels. Where were you? Where were you when these young black men, or black men period, were young boys, or when they were black boys? The problem I have with the black community period is black boys, nobody's there, and we'll say, oh, we'll get somebody to be a mentor or something, but not a father in the house or whatever it may be. Then when they turn 18, we expect for them to put the weight of the world on their shoulder. That's not fair. That's not right. Then you're going to guilt trip black men because they want to go in their own space and try to figure things out. Why would they want to come into a black space where it's hostile? A black space, think about it, a black space where it's hostile. We have a Dr. Boyce and many like him who basically say, hey, you should be a stepfather to a single mother, and that's helpful. And I had a stepdad. Hey, that's all fine and cool. Some people are going to do that. That's fine. But really think about that. You're telling me you're going to take somebody who they didn't have the mentorship of a black male, and our community in many places is in turmoil. So you're gonna do that. You're gonna turn around and tell a young man who's just trying to find a space where everything is not thrown on him as soon as he turns 18, and you think that that's fair, and you're going to drum up energy you need? Let me tell you what's going to happen. And why, if there really was a war between the Black Manosphere and the pro-black space, that the Manosphere would win. And I'm pro-black. Because guess what? You can have as many black women as you want contributing to your school, or buying your courses, or giving money however you want. You can have them doing that. But ultimately, you're going to need black men on the ground when real stuff happens. however you want to put it. You got to understand, black men in the black manosphere are not the enemy, okay? And what is happening now is the little choices that are being made over in the pro-black space by some, not all, is literally tearing it apart. And you want to say, hey, there's coons over there? Yeah, there's coons over there. Yeah, there are some coons over there. I'll be real. They're a coon because there's some socially awkward dudes who, you know, they grew up a certain way and they may not even know how to socialize the right way with black people. That's fine. But guess what? A lot of the people in the pro-black space, a lot of them, some of the women, they aren't really pro-black. They're just looking for somebody that's going to say what they want to hear and pander to him. And that is what is happening over there in the pro-black space. There should be no war. Pro-black space, I hope somebody hears this and somebody takes this serious, because just think about it. You cannot say you support the black community and you want things to get better, and the same black males that we have coming up without fathers in situations where they didn't really have mentorship like they should have. And you cannot expect them to not want to go in a space where they can find a tribe, where they can get a rite of passage. And guess what? There's many lanes. Jason Black can be that sometime, but sometime they're going to want to hear Kevin Samuels. Jason Black can't be everybody's mentor 100% of the time. Neither can Boyce Watkins. Neither can Dr. Umar. None of them can be all of that. There's different kinds of black men. And if we can do this without infighting, guess what? Finally, we can all come together. But as it is currently constructed, all you're going to get is a pro-black space with a small amount of men, or not the amount you should have, and a bunch of women who are just seeding into it. And ultimately, that is not the goal, because some of the people, just like me, in the pro-black space, especially black men, are going to say, hey, I done had enough of this. I'm tired of getting beat up over here where everything is my fault as a black male or as a black man. Y'all need to, over in the pro-black space, we got to be more respectful. We have to be more respectful to black men and try to bring them back over and share them, because those are the warriors that you're going to need.